The massive lecture hall of the Galactic Academy of Xenobiology fell silent as Professor Rox floated to the center platform. His translucent tentacles glowed with excitement, something his students had never seen before in their 3 years of study. "Today," he announced, his voice translator making soft chiming sounds, "I have amazing news. Our class has been chosen for a rare opportunity, a field trip to Earth." The reaction was immediate. Some students released scared pheromones, others changed colors, and a few simply froze in place. In the middle row, Hei-Yun's crystalline body sparkled with interest. As a luminarian from a low-gravity world, she had always been fascinated by heavy worlds like Earth. 2 rows behind her, Du-Yun's protective scales rattled nervously. Coming from a planet with perfectly controlled weather and temperature, the very idea of visiting a Deathworld made his 4 hearts beat faster. Still, he couldn't help but feel curious. Jai-Ho, sitting near the front, was already taking notes. His 6 eyes blinked in sequence as his data tendrils connected to his personal computer. As a member of the research-focused analytical species, he found Earth's unpredictability both terrifying and fascinating. Professor Rox displayed a hologram of Earth in the center of the room. The planet spun slowly, showing its wild mix of environments. Vast oceans, towering mountains, dense forests, and sprawling deserts. "Earth is classified as a Class 12 Deathworld," the professor explained. "It is the highest rating in our known galaxy. The humans who evolved there have survived conditions that would kill most species instantly." He pulled up a list that made several students gasp. Gravity, 3.2 times stronger than galactic standard. Atmospheric pressure, crushingly high. Weather, extremely unpredictable. Temperature range, -50 to +50 degrees in standard measurements. Wildlife, highly aggressive. Tectonic activity, constant. Bacterial life, everywhere. The most interesting part, Professor Rox continued, his tentacles now glowing bright blue, is that humans consider these conditions normal. They build cities in places where the ground shakes, where winds can lift buildings, and where temperatures change by 20 degrees in a single day. Hei-Yun raised her crystalline arm. "Professor, how will we survive there?" "Excellent question. You will all be equipped with the latest environmental suits. These will protect you from Earth's crushing gravity, toxic atmosphere, and dangerous bacteria. The suits cost more than this entire academy, so please be careful with them." Du-Yun's scales had turned a pale green. "Will we meet humans?" "Yes, our guide will be a human xenobiologist. Don't worry, despite their terrifying evolution, humans are actually quite friendly. They've learned to control their strength around other species." Jai-Ho's data tendrils waved with excitement. "Where on Earth will we visit?" "We will be going to a place called Seoul, in the region of South Korea. It's a good location to observe both human civilization and Earth's natural hazards. The local museum has excellent facilities for off-world visitors." The professor then displayed a stack of documents in everyone's visual field. "These are the safety waivers. There are 47 of them. Please read and sign them all. Yes, including the one about sudden atmospheric pressure changes, and the one about surviving if your suit fails, and especially the one about Earth's wildlife." As the students began processing the forms, Hei-Yun, Du-Yun, and Jai-Ho shared looks across the room. They knew this trip would be dangerous, but it was a once-in-a-lifetime chance to see the legendary Deathworld that had produced one of the galaxy's most resilient species. Professor Rox's final words made several students' protective membranes activate. "Remember, on Earth, even the tiny flying creatures humans call wasps can be deadly to us. This will be the most challenging field trip in the Academy's history, but it will also be the most interesting one. Prepare well, students. We leave in 3 days." The lecture hall buzzed with nervous excitement. Earth, the planet that had shaped its natives into what many species jokingly called space orcs, waited for them. None of the students knew then that they would soon understand exactly why Earth had earned its Class 12 Deathworld status, in ways their training could never have prepared them for. The ship landed softly in the special visitors area behind the Korean Natural History Museum in Seoul. Inside, Hae-yun, Do-yun, and Ji-ho checked their environmental suits one last time. The suits were thick, silver, and covered in blinking sensors that monitored Earth's deadly conditions. Gravity check complete, the suit's computer said. Warning, Earth gravity is now active. The moment the gravity switched on, all three students gasped. Even with their suit's support, they felt heavy, as if someone had placed rocks all over their bodies. Do-yun's legs shook so much that he had to hold onto a wall. How do humans walk in this? Hae-yun wondered, taking careful steps. Her crystalline form would shatter instantly without the suit's protection. The ship's door opened, and Earth's morning light streamed in. Their suits automatically darkened to protect them from the harsh sunlight. Outside, a human man stood waiting. He wore simple clothes, no protective gear at all, and had a friendly smile on his face. Welcome to Earth. I'm Park Jin-woo, your guide for this visit, he said, bowing slightly. The student's translators changed his words into standard galactic language. I hope your journey was comfortable. Ji-ho's 6 eyes blinked rapidly behind his faceplate as he recorded everything. How are you standing so? Normally, he asked, watching Jin-woo move as if the crushing gravity meant nothing. Jin-woo laughed. Oh, this is how we evolved. Earth's gravity is just home for us. Come on, let's get you inside the museum where you can adjust. As they walked slowly toward the building, a loud sound made them all jump. Something large and gray swooped over their heads. Danger! Flying predator detected. Do-yun's suit alarm screamed. That's just a pigeon, Jin-woo said calmly. They're harmless birds that live in our cities. Though I guess by galactic standards, even our pigeons are pretty tough. Hae-yun watched in horror as the pigeon landed nearby and began pecking at the ground. It can survive in this gravity. And it flies. Earth birds are amazing, Jin-woo explained. They're descendants of dinosaurs. Oh, we'll see those in the museum later. They passed a small garden, and Ji-ho's sensors went crazy. I'm detecting thousands of life forms in that tiny space. Those would be our insects, Jin-woo said. Ants, beetles, worms. Earth is full of life everywhere you look. Even in the air you're breathing. Well, the air your suits are filtering. Do-yun's scales had turned a worried purple color. The air has life in it. Bacteria and microscopic organisms, yes. Don't worry, your suits will protect you. Though I should mention that humans live with these bacteria all the time. We even need some of them to stay healthy. The aliens shared shocked looks. Living with bacteria, on purpose. As they reached the museum entrance, a group of human children ran past them, laughing and shouting. The alien students pressed against the wall, amazed by how fast and carelessly the children moved in Earth's gravity. How do they have so much energy? Hae-yun asked. Just walking is using all my suit's power. Jin-woo smiled. Humans start running almost as soon as they can walk. Our children especially have endless energy. Speaking of energy, how are your suit levels? They checked their displays. Walking from the ship to the museum had used up 15% of their power, just fighting against Earth's gravity. Don't worry, Jin-woo said, seeing their concern. We have charging stations throughout the museum. Now, before we start our tour, I should warn you about something we call weather. It looks like rain later today. Rain? Ji-ho asked, already taking notes. Yes, water falls from the sky regularly here. Sometimes a little, sometimes a lot. It's perfectly normal. The alien stared at him in disbelief. Water? Falling from the sky? Regularly? As they entered the museum, a small insect flew past them. Jin-woo casually waved it away, but the aliens had already seen its stinger. Was that one of the wasps we were warned about? Du Yun asked nervously. Oh no, that was just a small fly. You'll know a wasp when you see one, Jin Woo said cheerfully. Now who's ready to learn about Earth's history? I promise, by the end of this tour, you'll understand exactly why our world is rated Class 12. Though I have a feeling the weather might give you a demonstration sooner than planned. The three students followed their guide into the museum, their suit sensors continuing to flash warnings about Earth's deadly normal conditions. None of them knew that soon they would face much more than just high gravity and aggressive pigeons. The real demonstration of Earth's Deathworld status was about to begin. The first hall of the Natural History Museum made all three alien students stop in their tracks. In front of them stood the skeleton of something huge, with knife-like teeth and powerful legs. This is a Tyrannosaurus Rex, Jin Woo said proudly. It lived here about 66 million years ago. It was one of Earth's apex predators. Du Yun's scales turned almost white. How big was it? About 12 meters long, and it wasn't even our biggest predator. Wait until you see the marine life section. Yun moved closer to the skeleton, her crystalline form reflecting off the ancient bones. And humans evolved on the same planet as these creatures. Well, not exactly. These died out long before humans appeared, but we evolved alongside other predators that were just as dangerous. Jin Woo led them to the next display. Like these, saber-toothed cats, dire wolves, and cave bears. Jai-Ho was recording everything, his 6 eyes working overtime. Your ancestors survived against all these predators, without environmental suits or advanced weapons. Just basic tools at first, Jin Woo explained. Spears, fire, and most importantly, our brains. Humans learned to work together, to plan, and to adapt. They moved through the prehistoric exhibits, each one showing more terrifying creatures than the last. The aliens learned about massive insects from Earth's past, giant sea monsters, and birds bigger than their ship. But surely things are safer now, Du Yun asked hopefully. Jin Woo laughed. Well, yes and no. We don't have T-Rexes anymore, but Earth is still pretty wild. Let me show you our modern predator section. The next room had videos playing on large screens. Lions taking down prey, sharks swimming through deep waters, and bears fishing in rivers. The aliens watched in horror as eagles swooped down to catch fish, showing the same diving skills as their modern space fighters. These all still exist? Yun asked. Right now? Oh yes, in fact, there's a wildlife preserve about 100 kilometers from here with tigers and bears. Would you like to visit? No, all three aliens said at once. Suddenly, the ground shook slightly. The aliens froze, but nearby human visitors barely seemed to notice. What was that? Du Yun's voice shook. Just a small earthquake, Jin Woo said casually. We get them pretty often here. Don't worry, this building is designed to handle much stronger ones. You build permanent structures on moving ground? Jai-Ho asked, fascinated despite his fear. Of course, we have to adapt to Earth's conditions, not the other way around. Speaking of adaptation, let me show you how humans survived different climates. The next exhibit showed humans living in the Arctic, deserts, rainforests, and mountains. The aliens were amazed to learn that humans could survive in temperatures ranging from -50 to +50 degrees Celsius with minimal protection. Your species can just walk through different temperatures. Yun found this hard to believe. Her own species needed carefully controlled environments. With the right clothing, yes, humans are very good at regulating our body temperature. We can sweat to cool down or shiver to warm up. What sweat? Jai-Ho asked, already typing notes. Before Jin Woo could answer, a loud rumble of thunder made the aliens jump. The storm they had been warned about was getting closer. Perfect timing. Jin Woo said cheerfully. We can watch the storm from the observation deck. It's a great example of Earth's daily weather challenges. As they walked toward the deck, They passed an exhibit about mass extinctions. The aliens read how Earth had faced multiple planet-wide disasters, yet life always survived and evolved to be stronger. 5 major extinction events, Jai-Ho read aloud, and life still continued. That's right, Jin-Woo said. Earth's life is incredibly resilient. Each disaster made the survivors tougher, including us humans. Another rumble of thunder, closer this time, made the windows shake. Rain began to hit the glass, and flashes of lightning lit up the sky. Speaking of Earth's challenges, Jin-Woo said, looking at the darkening sky, I think we're about to get a live demonstration of why Earth weather earned its own warning section in your safety briefing. The aliens huddled together, watching the storm approach. Their suits' sensors were going crazy with warnings about atmospheric pressure changes, electrical discharges, and dangerous water accumulation. But what scared them most was how the humans around them seemed excited about the coming storm, as if deadly weather was entertainment. They were about to learn that on Earth, a little storm could be more exciting than they ever wanted it to be. The observation deck of the museum gave a perfect view of Seoul's skyline, but right now, that view was turning dark. Heavy clouds rolled in, black and threatening. Lightning flashed inside them, making Haeyun's crystalline form vibrate with each burst. Those are electrical discharges in the atmosphere, Jai-Ho said, trying to sound brave as he recorded data. Completely natural on Earth, right? Jin-Woo nodded. Yes, we call it lightning. The thunder you hear is the sound it makes. Don't worry, this building has lightning rods to protect us. You built special tools just to handle sky electricity. Du-Yun asked, his scales turning a worried green color. Before Jin-Woo could answer, a massive bolt of lightning struck a nearby tower. The boom of thunder was instant and deafening. All 3 aliens jumped, and their suits blared warnings about dangerous energy levels. But what shocked them even more was how the human visitors around them reacted, or didn't react. Some children pressed their faces against the windows, excited to see the storm. Adults simply opened umbrellas as they walked outside. They're going out in this. Haeyun couldn't believe it. But the sky is attacking them. It's just rain, Jin-Woo explained. We get storms like this all the time. Though I must admit, this one is building up to be quite impressive. The wind picked up, bending trees and sending loose papers flying through the air. Rain began falling harder, drumming against the windows. The aliens watched in horror as the water seemed to fall in sheets. Water isn't supposed to move like that, Du-Yun said, backing away from the windows. Water should stay in lakes and seas. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Then they went out completely. Several humans pulled out small light devices from their pockets, acting as if this was normal. The alien suits switched to emergency power mode. Don't panic, Jin-Woo said calmly. Power outages sometimes happen during big storms. The museum's backup generators will start soon. But the generators didn't start. Through the dark windows, they could see that many nearby buildings had also lost power. The storm had knocked out a major power line. We should move to a lower floor, Jin-Woo decided. The observation deck isn't the safest place during a strong storm. As they walked down the emergency-lit stairs, Haeyun noticed something strange. The humans are helping each other, she whispered to Jai-Ho. Look. She was right. Museum staff were calmly guiding visitors with flashlights. Parents carried tired children. Strangers helped elderly people down the stairs. Nobody was panicking, even though the building was dark and the storm raged outside. Humans are used to helping each other through dangerous situations, Jin-Woo explained, overhearing her. It's how we survived all these years. They reached the main floor just as another problem started. Water was beginning to seep under the museum's doors. The storm drains outside couldn't handle the heavy rain. The water is getting in, Du-Yun said in panic. The building is being invaded by sky water. But again, the humans stayed calm. Museum staff quickly put down special barriers by the doors and began moving valuable exhibits to higher ground. They worked together smoothly, as if they had practiced for this exact situation. "We have actually practiced for this," Jin Woo told them, seeing their surprise. "Earth throws a lot of challenges at us. We learn to prepare." Thunder boomed again, and the wind howled louder. Through the windows, they could see pieces of trash and small branches flying through the air. The aliens huddled together, their suits working overtime to keep them calm. "Is this normal?" Jai-ho asked, trying to keep his voice steady, even for Earth. Jin Woo looked at the storm thoughtfully. "This is a bit stronger than usual. We might have to stay in the museum for a while." He smiled at his scared visitors. "Don't worry, though. The cafeteria has plenty of food, and we have emergency supplies. We humans always prepare for Earth's moods." A loud crack from outside made everyone jump. A tree branch had broken off and crashed into a parked car. The aliens watched in amazement as two humans immediately ran out into the storm to make sure nobody was hurt, completely ignoring the rain and wind that their suits said was dangerous. "And that," Jin Woo said proudly, "is why we survived on this death world. We don't just endure Earth's challenges, we face them head-on, together." Little did they know, the storm was just the beginning of their Earth survival experience. The storm grew stronger, and the rain fell harder than ever. Inside the museum, humans gathered in the main hall, sharing snacks and telling stories to keep children entertained. The aliens watched in amazement as humans treated this dangerous situation like a social event. Then they heard it, a deep rumbling sound from outside, different from thunder. "That's not good," Jin Woo said, his smile dropping for the first time. He rushed to a window, and the aliens followed slowly in their heavy suits. The hill behind the museum was moving. The heavy rain had soaked the ground, and now mud and rocks were sliding down toward the building. A landslide had started. "Everyone away from the back windows," Jin Woo shouted. His voice was loud and firm, but not scared. The humans moved quickly and calmly. Museum staff guided people to the front of the building. But Hei-yun noticed something worrying. "The emergency exit is in the landslide's path," she said. "If more people come down from upstairs." Jin Woo was already moving. "We need to warn them and block that exit. Come with me if you want, but stay close." The aliens looked at each other. Their suits warned them not to move quickly in Earth's gravity, but they couldn't let their guide go alone. They followed Jin Woo up the stairs. On the second floor, they found a group of humans heading toward the emergency exit, not knowing about the danger outside. "Stop," Jin Woo called out. "The back exit isn't safe. Please use the front stairs." The humans changed direction immediately, trusting his warning without question. But as they turned around, Hei-yun's suit made a strange noise. "Warning. Environmental seal compromised," her suit computer said. "Breach detected in lower left section." Do-yun looked down and saw a small tear in Hei-yun's suit, near the bottom. It must have caught on something as they rushed up the stairs. Earth's unfiltered air began to seep in. "We need to get her to safety," Jai-ho said, all six eyes wide with fear. They had been warned that Earth's air could be deadly to their kind. But before they could move, a loud crash came from outside. Part of the landslide had hit the building. The walls shook, and cracks appeared in the ceiling. "The structure is compromised," Jai-ho's sensors warned. "Recommend immediate evacuation." Hei-yun tried to walk, but her suit's power was failing. Earth's full gravity began to press on her crystalline form. She felt like she would shatter at any moment. Then something amazing happened. Jin Woo stepped forward and did something that seemed impossible to the aliens. He lifted Hei-yun, environmental suit, and all despite the suit weighing as much as a small vehicle on their worlds. "Humans are much stronger in Earth's gravity," he explained, carrying her like she weighed nothing. "Our muscles and bones evolved for this environment." They hurried down the front stairs, Jin Woo carrying Hei-yun, while Do-yun and Jai-ho followed as quickly as their suits allowed. They reached the main hall just as another crash shook the building. Museum staff had already set up an emergency repair station. They had experience with damaged alien environmental suits from previous visitors. Two humans in protective gear quickly started fixing Hei-yun's suit. How can they work so fast in this gravity? Du-yun asked, watching the humans' quick, precise movements. Practice, Jin-woo said. And like I said, this gravity is normal for us. In fact, humans get weak if we spend too long in lower gravity. Through the front windows, they saw more humans arriving. Emergency workers in bright clothes, carrying equipment through the storm like it was a sunny day. They began working on controlling the landslide, using machines to direct the mud and rocks away from buildings. Your people go toward danger, Jai-ho asked, recording everything. Not away from it. Jin-woo nodded. Someone has to help. That's another way we survived on Earth, by not running away from challenges, but facing them and protecting each other. Hei-yun's suit was repaired quickly, but the experience had changed how all three aliens saw humans. They had just witnessed their guide lift something that should have been impossible for any normal species. They had seen humans rush to help others without hesitation. Most surprisingly, they had seen how humans stayed calm and organized during what their suits classified as a major planetary disaster. Maybe, Hei-yun said quietly to her friends, the term Deathworld isn't quite right. Maybe it should be called a strength world instead. Another crash from outside reminded them that Earth wasn't done testing them yet. The real challenges were still to come. The museum's main hall had become an emergency shelter. While rescue workers handled the landslide outside, visitors sat in groups on the floor, sharing food and stories. The three alien students huddled near a wall, their suits now fully charged thanks to a portable generator. I don't understand, Jai-ho said, watching a group of children play cards nearby. Why aren't the humans more worried? Jin-woo sat down with them, carrying hot drinks for himself and other museum staff. Steam rose from his cup, making the alien suits beep warnings about temperature changes. This is actually a good time to explain why humans are the way we are, Jin-woo said. You see, Earth has always been trying to kill us. The aliens leaned forward, interested despite their fear. When humans first evolved, Jin-woo continued, we weren't the strongest, fastest, or toughest creatures around. But we had something special. We could adapt to almost anything. A loud thunder crash made Du-yun jump, his scales turning pale again. Take storms like this one, Jin-woo said. Early humans learned to find shelter, make fire even in wet conditions, and work together to survive. Those who adapted passed these traits to their children. But the gravity, Hei-yun said, still amazed by how Jin-woo had carried her earlier. How did you get so strong? Jin-woo smiled. Earth's gravity shaped our bodies. Our bones grew dense. Our muscles became powerful. We had to be strong just to walk upright. Even human babies are born with incredible grip strength. They can hold their own weight just hours after being born. That's impossible, all three aliens said together. Not for humans, Jin-woo laughed. Watch this. He picked up a metal paperweight from a nearby desk and squeezed it. To the alien's shock, his fingers left small dents in the metal. By your world's standards, even our weakest adults are incredibly strong, he explained. We have to be careful when we visit other planets so we don't accidentally break things. Jai-ho was recording everything. Is that why some species call humans space orcs? Partly, Jin-woo said. But it's not just our strength. Humans can eat foods that would kill other species. We can drink liquids that would melt some aliens' insides. Our bodies fight off millions of tiny attackers, bacteria and viruses, every day. He pointed outside, where rescue workers were still working in the storm. See those humans. They're working in conditions that your suits class as deadly. Cold rain, strong winds, unsafe ground, and they'll do it for hours. Humans can go days without sleep if we need to. We can recover from injuries that would kill most species. A rescue worker walked past their group, covered in mud but smiling. She was carrying a large piece of equipment that would need a small vehicle to move on most other worlds. "How many worlds have you visited?" Jinwoo asked the aliens. 12, Heiyun answered proudly. "And how many had constant disasters like Earth?" The aliens thought about it. Most worlds they knew were stable, carefully controlled, or naturally peaceful. "None," Du-Yun admitted. "Even the mining worlds are more predictable than Earth." Jinwoo nodded. "Earth never gives us a break. If it's not storms, it's earthquakes. If not earthquakes, then volcanoes. If not those, then floods, droughts, blizzards, or hurricanes. We survived 5 mass extinction events that killed most life on Earth. Each time, life came back stronger." The building shook again as more mud hit the back wall. The human children nearby just laughed and continued their card game. "That's why we're so tough," Jinwoo said. "Earth taught us to be ready for anything, to help each other, to face problems head-on. Every human carries the strength earned through millions of years of surviving Earth's challenges." The aliens were quiet, thinking about this. They had always seen Earth as a dangerous death trap. Now they were starting to understand. It wasn't just a death world. It was a forge, and humans were the steel that had been hammered and tempered by Earth's endless challenges. "So when humans go to space," Heiyun started, "we bring that strength with us," Jinwoo finished. "But we also bring the lessons Earth taught us about helping others and facing challenges together." Outside, the storm continued to rage. But now the aliens saw it differently. It wasn't just deadly weather. It was part of the force that had shaped humanity into one of the galaxy's most remarkable species. Then the lights went out again, and Jinwoo's smile turned serious. "Speaking of Earth's challenges," he said, "I think we're about to get another lesson in human adaptability." As night fell, the storm grew even stronger. The emergency workers outside said it wasn't safe for anyone to leave the museum. They would all have to spend the night inside. "Stay here overnight." In the dark, Du-Yun's scales turned a worried purple color. His species never went without light. Their home world had 3 suns. The museum staff began setting up sleeping areas in the main hall. They brought out emergency blankets and pillows from storage. Some people even started making beds using their coats. "How can they sleep in these conditions?" Heiyun whispered. Her crystalline form sparkled in the dim emergency lights. Jinwoo overheard her. "Humans can sleep almost anywhere," he explained. "In fact, some people sleep better during storms. They find the sound of rain peaceful." "Peaceful?" Jaiho's 6 eyes blinked in disbelief. "The sky is attacking your building." A family nearby had made a small fort out of blankets. Their children were giggling inside, treating the emergency shelter like a fun camping trip. "Watch this," Jinwoo said. He walked to the middle of the hall and called out, "Who wants to hear some ghost stories?" Several children gathered around him quickly. Even some adults joined the group. The aliens moved closer, curious but nervous. "Ghost stories?" Heiyun asked. "Humans like to tell scary stories in the dark," Jinwoo explained. "It's a way we turn fear into fun." He began telling a story about an old house and strange noises. The alien suits registered how the humans' heart rates went up from excitement, not fear. The children squealed and laughed at the scary parts. "They're teaching their young to handle fear," Jaiho realized, taking notes. Through storytelling, the night brought more challenges. The temperature in the building began to drop as the heating system stayed off. The aliens watched in amazement as humans simply put on more layers of clothes or huddled together for warmth. "Your species can control body temperature by getting closer to each other?" Du-Yun asked, fascinated despite his fear. "We share body heat," Jinwoo said. "It's another survival skill we learned long ago. Humans are social creatures. We survive better together." Around midnight, something large hit a window, making a loud bang. The aliens jumped, but nearby humans just shrugged it off. Probably a branch from the trees, someone said calmly. The windows are strong. They won't break. How can they be so sure? He-Yun asked Jinwoo. Because humans build things to last, he replied. We learned to make our shelters strong enough to handle Earth's worst moods. Throughout the night, the aliens observed more amazing human behaviors. People took turns watching for problems. They shared food and water. Someone started singing, and soon many humans were joining in, their voices drowning out the storm. Is singing also a survival skill? Jiho asked. Jinwoo smiled. In a way, music helps us stay positive in hard times. A happy human is a stronger human. The most surprising thing happened when the emergency lights started to dim. Instead of panicking about the growing darkness, humans pulled out their phones and small lights. Soon the hall was lit by dozens of tiny light sources. Humans always carry artificial lights. He-Yun was impressed. Just in case. We like to be prepared, Jinwoo said, but we can also see pretty well in low light. Our eyes adjust to darkness. The aliens tried to imagine living in a world where you had to be ready for anything at any time. Where the ground could shake, the sky could attack with water and lightning, and darkness could come without warning. No wonder humans are so tough, Du-Yun said quietly to his friends. They never know what Earth will do next. As the night went on, most humans fell asleep despite the storm and the hard floor. The aliens watched in wonder as these incredible beings simply closed their eyes and became unconscious, trusting others to watch for danger. They're so vulnerable when they sleep, He-Yun observed, but they trust each other completely. That's humanity's real strength, Jinwoo said softly. Not just our tough bodies, but our ability to work together, to trust each other, to find hope, and even joy in dangerous times. The storm continued to rage outside. But inside, surrounded by sleeping humans, the aliens began to feel something new, a sense of safety. Maybe, they thought, the most amazing thing about humans wasn't their physical strength, but their ability to create peace in the middle of a Deathworld's fury. Morning light streamed through the museum windows, waking the aliens who had dozed off in their suits. The storm had finally stopped. Humans were already up and moving, folding blankets and cleaning the area. Humans need very little sleep, Jinwoo explained as he brought them some power cells for their suits. 4 to 6 hours is enough in emergencies. Outside, the damage from the storm was clear. Fallen branches covered the ground. Parts of the hill behind the museum had slid down, leaving dark scars in the earth. Several cars were covered in mud and leaves. But what amazed the aliens most was what the humans were doing. They're going outside already, He-Yun asked, watching people walk out into the wet morning, without checking if it's safe. Oh, the rescue teams checked hours ago, Jinwoo said. Now it's time to clean up. More people arrived in trucks and cars. They brought tools, machines, and more supplies. Within minutes, dozens of humans were working together to clear debris and fix damage. Look at how they lift those heavy branches. Du-Yun's scales turned bright orange with excitement. No machinery, just their own strength. They watched as humans formed chains to move debris, calling out jokes and encouragement to each other. Some people brought food and drinks for the workers. Others took pictures of the damage to send to news stations. I don't understand, Jiho said, all 6 eyes focused on the activity. Why are they helping? Most of these humans don't even work here. That's just what humans do, Jinwoo explained. When there's work to be done, we help. It makes the job faster and brings the community together. A group of children had started collecting smaller branches and leaves, turning the cleanup into a game. They competed to see who could gather the most, laughing as they worked. They're teaching their young to help too, He-Yun noticed. Through play. Everything is a learning opportunity, Jinwoo agreed, even disasters. Du-Yun watched as humans used simple tools to redirect water and stabilize the muddy ground. On our worlds, we would wait for proper machinery and safety equipment. Sometimes Earth doesn't give us time to wait, Jinwoo said. We learn to work with what we have. The aliens jumped as a loud machine started nearby. A human was using something called a chainsaw to cut up fallen trees. The noise was terrible, but the humans barely noticed it. Would you like to help? Jinwoo asked the aliens. There's some light work you could do, even in your suits. The aliens looked at each other nervously. Their suits were still warning them about Earth's gravity and dangerous organic particles in the air. But after watching the humans all night and morning, they felt braver. We can try, Haeyun said. Jinwoo led them to an area where people were picking up small branches. He showed them how to gather the debris into piles. Even with their suits' strength support, the work was hard in Earth's gravity. How do humans do this for hours? Du-Yun asked, already tired after a few minutes. We build up our strength over time, Jinwoo explained. And we know when to rest. Look. He pointed to where some workers were taking a break, drinking water and eating snacks. Others immediately stepped in to continue their work. Everyone works together, but no one works themselves too hard, he said. That's another survival skill, knowing your limits. As the morning went on, the aliens saw more examples of human ingenuity. People used fallen branches to make temporary bridges over mud. They turned tarps and ropes into simple tools. Every problem was met with quick thinking and teamwork. I think I understand now, Jaiho said, recording everything. Earth's challenges made humans strong, but working together made them unstoppable. Jinwoo smiled. That's right, and speaking of challenges, he looked at his phone. The weather report says another storm is coming tonight, a bigger one. The alien suits beeped in alarm, but this time they weren't as scared. They had seen how humans handled Earth's fury. Still, they couldn't help but wonder what new lessons this Deathworld had in store for them. Back on their ship, safely away from Earth's gravity and weather, the 3 alien students began writing their reports for the Galactic Academy. Each had a different view of their experience on the Deathworld. Haeyun sat in her crystalline chamber, her form glowing softly as she composed her thoughts. Earth's gravity should make life impossible. Its weather should destroy all buildings. Its temperature changes should kill any complex life. But humans don't just survive these conditions. They thrive in them. When my environmental suit broke, I thought I would die. Instead, I learned that humans are strong enough to carry our suits like they weigh nothing. They are truly remarkable beings. In his carefully controlled atmosphere pod, Du-Yun's scales shifted through colors as he wrote. I used to think humans were scary because they evolved on a Deathworld. Now I think they're amazing because of it. During the storm, I saw humans run toward danger to help others. They worked in terrible conditions without complaint. They even smiled and sang while their world tried to destroy them. Earth didn't make humans scary. It made them brave. Jaiho's 6 eyes moved quickly as he recorded his report. The most interesting thing about humans isn't their physical strength. It's how they work together. They share food, help strangers, and teach their young to be brave through stories and games. They turn disasters into chances to build community. Every challenge makes them stronger, not just as individuals, but as a species. Professor Rox read their reports with great interest. His tentacles glowed brightly when he reached their shared conclusion. Earth shouldn't be called just a death world. It's a training ground. Everything that makes Earth dangerous also made humans special. They are strong because their world is harsh. They help each other because they need to survive. They adapt quickly because Earth never stops challenging them. The professor called the 3 students to his office to discuss their experience. You were only on Earth for 2 days, he said, but you learn more than some researchers do in years. Tell me, what was your most surprising discovery? The aliens looked at each other before Haeyun spoke. We thought Earth's dangers would be its animals, gravity, or storms. But Earth's greatest power is how it shaped humans. They don't just survive. They turn challenges into strength. And they help others do the same, Du Yun added, his scales turning a confident blue. When my suit was running low on power, humans immediately offered their own energy sources. They didn't even know my species, but they helped anyway. Jaiho's data tendrils waved excitedly. They're teaching other species how to be stronger too. The museum guide, Jinwoo, showed us how to handle Earth's gravity. He taught us not to fear the storm. Humans want to share what Earth taught them. Professor Rox's tentacles rippled with approval. So, would you say your view of Earth has changed? Yes, they all said together. Earth is still the most dangerous planet we've ever visited, Heyun explained. But now we understand. Humans aren't just surviving there. They're learning from it. Every disaster teaches them something new. Every challenge makes them more capable. And they face it all together, Du Yun said. That's why they're spreading across the galaxy so successfully. They'd bring Earth's lessons with them, about strength, about helping others, about never giving up. The term Deathworld isn't quite right, Jaiho concluded. Earth is more like a school. A very tough school, but one that produced one of the galaxy's most remarkable species. As the students left his office, Professor Rox made a note in the official galactic database. Next to Earth's entry as a Class 12 Deathworld, he added a new comment. Warning: native species, humans, have turned planetary hazards into evolutionary advantages. They are stronger than their gravity suggests, more resilient than their size indicates, and more cooperative than their predator history would predict. Approach with respect, not just caution. They may seem scary because they evolved on a death world, but they are worth knowing because of what that world taught them. Back on Earth, another storm was starting. Humans looked up at the dark clouds, checked their emergency supplies, and went about their day. Just another normal afternoon on the galaxy's most famous death world.